So, this one's gonna be again about habits and how other people or some people that actually also, some of them actually also read the Atomic Habits book from James Clear, and this is their story, or this is their stories, because there are multiple stories, actually 30 stories in 30 sentences. But more after the intro. Boom. As always, as every single day, always after the intro. But yeah, before I even start with the episode, I do just want to point out that if you're not having the time, for actually going through a 30-minute episode on YouTube, then I would totally suggest you to go to the link in the description and to my podcast. It is basically an audio only version of this exact episode. Like you can listen to it like you would be listening to music, which is insanely good just because you're able to save a lot of time, because you're able to just listen to it while you're on the go, while you're driving in your car, or while you're doing just something. It is insanely good. It is amazing because you can get the information and you can, you actually read an article, and a really amazing article, by just listening to it in the end, which is really, really good at my point of view. I would totally suggest that. I would even in general say that the podcast is even better than the YouTube videos are, because at my point of view at least, some people do just need somebody to look at. Okay, it seems to be the case somehow. And some people just don't give a fuck about it and they do just want to have the information. And then the podcast is just way better because, you can do whatever and it is just way more efficient, at least at my point of view. But so go down in the description, there's going to be a link, and this link is hopefully going to lead to all the other links, because the podcast is on Spotify, on TuneIn, it is on Anchor itself, it is on it's not on SoundCloud, but it is just on Castbox and Stitcher and all these other platforms. So if you're just listening to other podcasts on a particular platform, there's also going to be my podcast, the SDWT, or Self-Development with Tactics podcast. But and with that being said, I think we just go straight ahead with the article because it is a really, really, really good article, at least at my point of view. I've really enjoyed it yesterday, and I've also gone through it on yesterday or just yesterday. And which means if you want to just know what has happened or what had happened or what happened yesterday, then I would also totally suggest you to go to my channel or to the podcast if you're on the podcast already, and check out the other episode as well. It is not you necessarily have to do that, but if you want to have the whole experience then I would suggest it, but you really don't have to. I don't know, I think there wasn't that much of a surprising thing or really important thing. It is if you want to have the complete one, then it makes sense, If you're not willing to have this, then just please don't do it, because it would just, would just not save you quite some time. But the next point on the list that I'm having here or on the article or in the article is habit stacking, because it is somehow categorized in certain phrases or certain just things. The problem there is it is not, it is not really all these statements or all these phrases or all these words or things, they are not just all the same. Let's talk about sports. Then we have football, we have soccer, we have handball, we have volleyball, with all the things. And it's not the exact same case with those things or with those words. They're all just somehow kind of random. But the next one is habit stacking. And habit stacking is actually something that I did subconsciously and I thought about subconsciously because I didn't know what it is, And it is also a pretty great way to just, basically learn a new, I do not want to say words, but new things, because these things might be coming from or out of psychology terms or whatever. Never mind, and let's just start. So another popular tactic in the book is something I call habit stacking, or it actually is something that only he calls it. It's a strategy I first learned from Stanford professor B.J. Fogg. He refers to it as anchoring because you anchor or stack your new habit onto a current habit. One example that I just actually also have seen here just down below, a little bit more down below, is, for example, a problem that I have had or am I still having it? I'm still actually sometimes having it, to be really honest here, to be really fucking honest here. And it is my problem of not brushing my teeth, which sounds pretty gross. It is pretty gross and it pisses me off really immensely. But the thing is, I've quote unquote stopped to brush my teeth just because I've had a new habit, a new habit of intermittent fasting, which means like I'm not eating in the morning, and which also means that I'm not gonna eat till the 16-hour window is just finished. Basically, it is pretty nice. If you want to lose weight, it is definitely a very, very good strategy because, yeah, it is not about what you eat, it is about when you eat then, and you basically can eat whatever you want, in theory, but you're probably not going to be able to just eat as much as you would have, or as you were able to, just because you're not having as much time as you had. It is this is the only kind of, this is the only kind of change you have to go through, which is just really insanely just simple. It is definitely not easy, just because it definitely depends on what relationship you're having with eating, because some people are actually having just a really kind of close relationship to eating, because they really like eating. Eating for them is something like, I don't know, meditation, quite, which is totally fine. If it is something like this for you, then it is fine. Like, I'm not gonna judge that, but it's definitely coming up to something like this. The thing is, I stopped brushing my teeth just because I wasn't eating in the morning, and the habit of brushing my teeth was stacked on the habit of eating something in the morning, or drinking something in the morning, or even actually being in my just kitchen in the morning, because in my kitchen there's also the table where I'm eating and whatever. It might also be just really kind of correlated to the room. I'm not gonna say like, okay, only because I'm eating something then I'm gonna brush my teeth, but it was just kind of a chain. It was just kind of a habit row or habit chain, quote unquote, because I was eating and I was drinking and I was in the kitchen, and then after I've eaten and drinking something, maybe I went to the toilet and take a shit or something, and then I brushed my teeth. And just because I'm not doing this, just because I'm just standing up actually and sitting right here on my desk and just working something, doing something, whatever I'm doing, or whatever I am working on, the whole kind of process of going into the kitchen is kind of not here, To some degree it is here, but still sometimes I actually then forget about it, even though I have been in the kitchen. So it might even be correlated to eating something, which is pretty interesting. So this is basically habit stacking, but we're gonna see in the examples down below. So one reader used a habit stacking to create a simple rule for learning a new language. When I first moved to China and started to learn Mandarin, I committed to strike up a conversation with the taxi driver whenever I went into a cab. I took a lot of cab rides, so 5+ daily. What the fuck? I did it for 2 years, no matter the time of day or how tired I was. I now speak fluent Chinese. Yeah, a really great habit, because you're having this habit of just, is it a habit when you need just a taxi or when you need the cab? Well, yeah, let's say it is a habit. You have the habit of just always being in need of a cab, basically like 5 times or even more a day, which is definitely a lot, and which I don't know how the prices in China are, but I guess it is like still not cheap, but maybe even cheaper just because, I don't know, you would be able to just, or you are able because of the cab drivers to make money in the meantime, which you wouldn't be able to when you were just having your own car or something, when you know what I mean, I think it is actually opportunity cost, isn't it? I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is. The thing is, you're basically stacking a new habit on an existing one, and something that is actually, because the thing is, with all those habits and whatsoever, it is always in a negative way, or it can always be in a negative way, or exist in a negative way, and also in a positive way. This, of course, is a very, very positive way. Like, this person was able to learn fluent Chinese just because, which is something that he just did anyways, he just had to take some cabs. The thing is, I've also seen, I think it was actually the same article, but I'm not quite sure, there was a woman, and this woman was smoking, and this woman was just always trying to quit smoking because obviously smoking is really not that good. And the thing is, she stopped, or he just she was able to stop smoking when she also stopped riding her horse. I'm sorry. So riding on horseback. When she stopped that, she was actually also able to stop smoking. But why? You might ask. The thing is, she was only quite smoking when she was riding on horseback. She was riding on horseback with her friend or whatever she was doing. I'm sorry, she was doing, and well, yeah, it was a habit, the habit of riding a horse, and then you stacked a negative habit on it, which is, smoking. So there you can see, it's going to be in a positive way, and it's also going to be in a negative way, sometimes at least, Sometimes. The next one. Similarly, a reader named David told me, I meditate for 20 minutes after brushing my teeth in the morning. Linking new habits onto a keystone one seems to work. Yeah, definitely, because we all brush our teeth, but me, kinda. To be really honest, it was really surprising me, I was really surprised by the fact that I actually forgot about brushing my teeth, because it was something, it is actually a habit that I've been having for decades, literally decades, I've been having this habit of brushing my teeth for since I'm born, basically, for 18 years now, more than 18 years now, actually. And it is pretty funny, that still I'm able to kind of crush this kind of habit by just not eating something in the morning, or by not being in the kitchen in the morning, or at least not immediately after I've just stood up or something. It is really interesting. It's really interesting how fast we can actually change our habits by changing the environment, by changing the other habits that we're having, and all those things. It's really a pretty interesting thing, and maybe even fucked up thing. It depends on what it is all about. The next thing, or the next part, the next kind of category is environment design, part 1, because as I've been actually just talking about, the environment that you're in is definitely very important. I've been having just another podcast episode on this particular topic, why the environment actually just is such a big factor for your habits. I would totally suggest to check this out, because it's actually a very, very valuable one. So check it out as the podcast. You might be able to just save some time with that. The short version of it is that, of course, our environment shapes our habits. Why? You might ask, or you might also not ask, but I'm still going to say it. The thing is, the people that surround us have certain habits. And when we are in a certain group of, let's say, smokers, chances are pretty high that if you're a non-smoker, that you're going to start smoking. Just because your environment is, your environment has a certain habit, and you're also going to attach to this certain habit. Chances are pretty high, to be honest. The thing is, for me, it is the case, some of my friends are smokers. Yeah, they smoke. It is fine, I'm still not smoking, because I don't know, but it might be something different if I would be just hanging out with them every single second of my life. I think it would clearly be something different, if I would be just going on parties with them, if I would just hang out literally, for every second that I'm having in my life, then of course, I don't know, I might be thinking about starting to smoke, unfortunately, because our environment definitely matters. And a funny and maybe even not so funny thing is that, for example, people that are trying to get sober again, people that have been just having a drinking habit and whatsoever, when they go into the clinic and whatsoever, they get sober, most often they get sober. But the problem is, and I do just actually have to point out that if you're in a clinic, it is definitely another environment than you're having at home. It is clearly a different environment. The thing is, if they then go home again, it is the old environment with the old friends and the old family and the old people, which means, that they're probably not going to stay sober for quite a long time, just because they're having the exact same environment as they had before, and just because our environment changes our habits so immensely and also influences our habits so immensely, the chances are pretty high that they're not gonna stay sober, that they're actually gonna just start again drinking or start again to smoke. And it's really unfortunate. But the funny thing is, which is also something that James Clear was talking about, is that the I do not want to say warriors, but soldiers. It is soldiers. Soldiers from the Vietnam War. You know, they quite a lot of them have been addicted to heroin. You know, because they thought like, okay, heroin is just a pretty nice thing to just give our soldiers because they then get a boost of energy. They might have gotten, but a lot of people also just got addicted to it. Unfortunately, like really addicted. You know, because it's heavily addictive. You know, alcohol is as well. But yeah, you know, it is like this debate, you know that. But the thing is, 90% of them actually got sober, and 90% of them just didn't re-addict after they went home because they were in another environment. Because the war is obviously and definitely a different environment than they have at home. And when they then just come home, you know, after the war ended, or after they just, I don't know, retired from war or something, then they're actually gonna get sober to 90%, which is definitely pretty fucking high, just because of the environment, just because they've been in a certain environment and then they've just gotten addicted to the certain thing, and then they just stepped, quote unquote, into another environment or into their kind of old environment, and then they get sober, you know, because nobody's telling them to just take it. They don't see anybody that is taking it, and all those things. So it's basically not there in their old environment. There is no heroin in their old environment. But in the new one, in war, it was constantly around, I guess. You know, soldiers have taken it, you know, other soldiers have taken it, and it was laying around maybe. It was like just always there to get and whatever. Yeah, the environment, you know, things that's around you, whether it be just people, I guess, or whether it be just objects, or yeah, your surroundings, basically, like the world around you. I assume that. The next part is actual. Wait. The power of the environment. Haven't I actually begun with the environment? Yeah, I'm gonna read the environment design. So I have written about the power of environment and the importance of choice architecture in the past. The simple truth is our environment often shapes our behavior. Many readers are using this fact to their benefit by installing some of the environment design strategies I share in this book. For starters, you can break a bad habit by increasing the friction in your environment, which means like, okay, you are a smoker and you consciously just make friends with a lot of non-smokers, then chances are pretty high that you're not gonna smoke, you know, because you are alone, just because you're like, yeah, alone, and you're just, yeah, and nobody else is smoking or whatsoever, then I guess you're probably gonna think about smoking a cigarette, you know, because nobody else is. I assume at least, you know, I assume that it is still something like a pretty sociable thing, you know, or sociable. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So one woman named Sid, so it's CYD, curtailed her snacking habit with the following strategy. My husband still loves his Pringles, as do I. As do I, or so do I do. Never mind. But they are now kept in a locked car that's parked in the cold. And it works. Oh my fucking god. So multiple readers are learning to wake up earlier. We like, just to recap it, you know, for a bit, it is insane. Like, yeah, it is fucking insane. Like, yeah, it is insane. But yeah. Multiple readers are learning to wake up earlier. One reader named Daniel told me, I jump out of bed every morning without any hesitation. The reason? The only way to turn off my alarm is to scan a QR code I keep in the bathroom. This worked wonders for me. There's definitely quite a lot of friction, I have to say. Like, really, a lot of fucking friction. Like really. And never mind. So Chris utilized both environment design and habit stacking to stop sleeping in. He wrote, I have had a bad habit, hitting snooze to eliminate it. What? So I made it hard and put his phone in the bathroom and put his phone or my phone in the bathroom. The phone then became a habit stack. The first thing I do when I wake up is turn off alarm, go to bathroom and brush teeth, etc. I didn't really get this one, unfortunately. Like, I don't know. never mind. One of my favorite examples was sent to me by J Money. Pretty nice name. The personal finance blogger. He wrote, I brush my teeth right after putting my kids to bed every night at 8 p.m., which has prevented me from eating or drinking alcohol at night for years. Because who wants to rebrush them again? Because it's just actually taking some time. It honestly is. And I think it might actually be a reason for quite a lot of people to not eat anything and or not drink anything, whether it be actually just some juice because it just tastes pretty shit, or whether it be alcohol or coffee or whatever it is. I think it would be actually a pretty great way to also prevent yourself from doing something like that. It's great. It's a great example of creating just enough friction to keep your bad habits at bay. Yeah. I don't know. I think you just do not need like a lot of fucking friction. I think you just actually need enough friction. But yeah. Tomorrow are we gonna finish it? No, we're not gonna finish up with this one, but we're gonna finish this week, definitely. But just because we always go through a Quora question, today we're also gonna go through a Quora question. So let's actually see if we can find something interesting today. Let's actually, yeah. No, it's not a good one. Okay, this is, I think, a good one, even though I've been talking about something similar yesterday. But this question is, what does work smarter and not harder mean to you? For me, and I guess it is actually something that a lot of people are thinking about, it is basically about being efficient. Or being more efficient than you've been before, and to just, which basically means like getting more done in a shorter period of time. As I kind of think about it, or as I think. But the thing is it actually a good variable to go for? At my point of view, not really. Because, okay, just be a little bit smarter. Just work a little bit smarter. Just be a little bit more efficient. Just do that. It is really not good. How would you do that? How would you actually be more efficient? Of course, you kind of just upgrade your efficiency through maybe actually hiring staff. You could do that by just getting new software, by whatever. The thing is, it is really not such an easy factor to manipulate or to stimulate or whatever you want to call it. But hard work is a really, really, really easy factor to just manipulate and or stimulate, because you can just work more. And by working more, you're also probably gonna be able to get done more, just because you've worked more. Maybe just because you've got up earlier, which actually gives you an extra 1 or 2 hours, which lets you just be able to get more work done. As easy as it is and as easy as it sounds, it is what it is. Because, or you could also just stay up later. You could also be doing that. The thing is, it is way easier. It is way easier to just get up earlier, to just work more, to just work longer hours, than it is to just go for efficiency. Because, as I said, efficiency, for me, which is actually working smart. For me, working smart is efficient. Somehow. Just this is the exact same thing, or the first thing that I'm just thinking about. The thing is, can you also think about something else when you're thinking about working smarter? Is there something else that you could be thinking about? But no, it is definitely efficiency. I was just thinking about doing dumb shit basically doing dumb shit instead of just actually doing something that matters. It is definitely also not being efficient. Just because if you would have been efficient, or if you would like to be efficient, you would definitely just do things that are really important right now. Because it makes sense, because it would make sense and because it is efficient. But the thing is, does it mean, if you are more efficient, does it mean that you're not going to work as hard? Does it mean that you're not going to work as long? Does it mean that you're not going to work just completely? No, you're still going to work, and you're still going to work hard, but you're going to be efficient. But as I said, it is really not an easy factor, an easy stimulant to stimulate, and also to just manipulate or to change up or to add something or whatever, it is really not easy. At least it is not as easy as just working more, just working harder, just working long hours. It is easier, you know? And I think everybody would understand this. And I think everybody would just actually agree with me. But yeah, thank you very much, for being with me in this episode, or for just going through this article with me in this episode. It just really means the world to me. And if you've liked it, just give me a like and or rate the podcast, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel and also to the podcast. It would really mean the world to me. It would really mean the world to me. But yeah, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself that you're gonna be remembered, which basically means like your legacy, because we can shape it and we have it in our hands. Even though something that I do want to point out is that not everyone's gonna like you, not everyone's gonna love you, and there's still gonna be someone that even hates you or just doesn't like you or dislikes you. It is what it is. And 3 other questions that I hope that you're gonna ask yourself is, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what pisses you off the most? And these might help you to actually figure out your purpose, and also maybe some business ideas, because often it started with this. And thank you very much again. I really hope that I'm going to see you the next time and or in the next episode as well. And thanks a lot.